Howdy y'all and welcome back. Before we jump into the meat and potatoes of this first impressions video, quick reminder, we're giving away the Aero Precision / Ballistic Advantage, complete upper, BCG, charging handle, everything's included. Giving this away at the end of this month, March 2024. And because I now have this Credo mounted up on the Noveski, that frees up the Vortex Viper 1-6 to give away end of June. Actually, I usually do that on 4th of July. So this will be the 4th of July drawing, and I'm going to go ahead and include the little Aero lightweight mount with it, because why not? So all Patreon supporters are in on these drawings. Each $5 gets you one entry into the drawing. So, all right. Trijicon 2-10. The Credo. So I was turned on to this by the guys over at Barrel and Hatchet. They are big fans and have quite a few reels up on YouTube, as well as a couple of feature videos talking about it, and felt like it was probably the direction I wanted to go. And then, as I continued going down the optics rabbit hole, I discovered C-Does, who has a phenomenal optics review channel. If you are in the market, check his channel first, because it is outstanding. He really has his process dialed in to give us, the viewer, the closest chance of seeing what you'll probably see through the optic, and his thoughts and everything. He's top-notch reviewer. He was not crazy about this. First, so he got the Trijicon Credo 2-10 in hand and was so frustrated with it, he returned it. Trijicon sent him another one, and it gave him the same headaches that the first one did. And mostly that was that he felt like at 10x, it really fell apart. His exact words were, I believe, it turns to soup, that the image quality looks like soup. And I was like, damn. So that really, I was like, well, maybe I don't want that. So I spent another several weeks going, checking forums and watching other options and videos on other options. And then it was really through the Sniper's Hide, looking up old posts on Sniper's Hide, where I found some folks that owned these and said, no, at 10x, mine is crystal clear. And they even mentioned his review in one of the threads, and they felt like he really hadn't set the diopter correctly, which was my hunch watching it. And I know he's got a whole process, and he's really good at what he does, but that was just my gut watching the thing, was that I don't think it's dialed in just right. His big issue was this optic does not have adjustable parallax. It is fixed parallax, more like an LPVO. And that really kind of bothered him, I think. So, and I sort of get that. In the Barrel and Hatchet guys' review of the 2.5-10 from Primary Arms, they actually made the opposite statement. They felt like the parallax, adjusting parallax, was kind of actually messing with them a little. After having so much time on this guy, they were like, it's kind of annoying, and they ended up just setting it to infinity and forgetting about it. So, right, sometimes these things are a little subjective. I don't know. So I have taken the plunge. Boom, it's in hand. And so far, I live in the dense, thick, piney woods northeast of Houston in a very suburban neighborhood. The longest line of sight I can get from anywhere around my property is 300 yards down to a stop sign at the end of my side street. And at 10x, at 300 yards, everything is crystal clear. It looks beautiful. So maybe beyond that, it's where it all falls apart. We'll have to see. But really, for me, this whole gun is about a 500 yard and in kind of setup with the ability to reach out farther. But really what I wanted was to be able to get very, very, very precise at least sight picture and PID, positive verification of what it is I'm about to take a shot at more like that 3, 4, 500 yard range, right? As opposed to, you can get it done with 4x magnification or 6x. So in doing all of my shopping, I had 5 main criteria that I'm looking for. Obviously, the magnification. Do you go 1 to 6, 1 to 8, 1 to 10, 2 to 10, 2.5 to 10? Looked at 3 to 15s, 3 to 18s, 4 to 20s, or the whole, right? Trying to figure out what I felt like I needed. And realistically, 10x probably gets it done for me. Then there's first focal plane or second focal plane. And coming from the second focal plane Viper, really felt like I wanted first focal plane. There are advantages and disadvantages to both, and that's not the point of this video, but what typically comes along with that decision, first or second focal plane, is going to be your reticle options. Like, what features does the reticle have? Is it super, minimalist? I really wanted something with wind holds and a proper Christmas tree and a very, very, very precise center aiming point. I at longer distances, the thicker crosshairs of the Viper, I felt like hold me back just a little bit. It works. It's just things behind the reticle start getting harder to identify because the reticle is thicker. And then there's the weight consideration. So the Viper is 23 ounces. I was fine with staying, right, like in that weight class. I really didn't want to go much above that, which also ruled out some of the higher magnification options because they start getting heavier. So very tempting to go maybe NX8 or PLXC for something significantly lighter and actually put this chunky boy on a diet. But I figured, I can live with something in that 23 ounce category. And the Credo 2 to 10 is exactly the same weight as the Vortex Viper. So it actually balances, it feels less heavy, kind of, because that weight is stretched out more along with the weight of the whole gun. So it feels less top heavy this way, if that makes sense. Like that way doesn't feel as wobbly. Maybe a little heavier on the front end, but it's the same weight. And then, of course, there's cost. And I was really trying to keep it under $1,500. An X8 kind of tips up above that unless you go used. And at $970 plus tax, the Credo was well under that price point, right? So it's Japanese glass. It's definitely a step up from Philippine options in the kind of Primary Arms GLX line or the Vortex, the Viper line. So really wanted better glass, but didn't want to spend $2,500 or whatever. So there we are. That's how we get here. So far, like I said, crystal clear. I know I'm not showing you much. You'll just have to take my word for it or do more Google foo if you're in the market. Just one guy, it's a sample size of one. Maybe I got a good one. I don't know. But anyway, I am super excited to get a little more familiar with mills and wind holds and just learning more about longer-ish range shooting. So I'm not trying to get out to 1,000 necessarily, but maybe we'll get there eventually. For now, that kind of 500-600 yard sweet spot with the ability to actually see what I'm shooting somewhat, right? All right, so anyway, that's all I got for this one, y'all. Giveaways coming soon. Thank you for watching. Until next time, be easy, y'all.